And this next one, we got Marcin Prachnio taking on Jimmy Crute. And Jimmy Crute, super strange run in the UFC. He first joined the UFC, he was like a blue chip prospect. He was 7-0. He was only 22 years old. People were looking at him as a potentially future title contender. He won 4 of his first 5 UFC fights inside the distance as well. So people were kind of looking like they were going to be proven right. But after his loss to Anthony Smith, he took a layoff, got knocked out by Jamal Hill. And since then, he's just not really gotten his footing back. He took 2 years off. He came back in 2023, fought Alonzo Menefield, had a war, went to a draw, had an immediate rematch with Menefield, then got finished in the second fight. He retired after the second Menefield fight, ended up finding his passion for the sport again, came back and fought Rodolfo Bellato, dominated the first round. He almost got the finish, but ended up winning the first round 10-8 and then lost the second and third and had another draw. So winless in his last 5 fights. He has to win here to save his job. I mean, the guy hasn't won a fight since 2020, so must win for him. And Marcin Prachnio, someone I would be very surprised is still in the UFC 7 years after his debut where he got knocked out. He started off 0-3 with 3 first-round knockout losses, but he's won 4 of his last 6 fights, and he's proven to be a tricky guy, UFC level, coming off that loss to Modestas Bukauskas. And matchup-wise, it's kind of a hard fight for Prachnio. Prachnio, he's beaten some wrestlers, like he beat Devin Clark, he beat William Knight, but he's only 1-3 in fights where he's given up a takedown in the UFC. He's been submitted in his last 2 losses with an arm triangle, which is one of Jimmy Crute's go-to submissions. And Jimmy Crute is super dangerous in the first round. He's elite wrestling for 205, and his striking is also on point. He likes to hold the center. He'll use his speed. He'll chop the legs. He'll jab at range. He likes to stand his ground, wait for fighters to come to him, and then try to counter with 3-2s, 2-3s. He has good hand speed, good power, nice short uppercuts, knees on the inside. So he's not a terrible striker. It's just he doesn't maintain his gas tank well. And his fights go on, he starts to drop his hands, he starts to stand in the center and wait for the counters, but his reactions aren't as good, and he starts to get clipped and rocked, and he also stands very heavy on that lead leg. He's gotten that chewed up in multiple fights. He had that injury that Michael Chandler, Henry Cejudo had against Anthony Smith that cost him that fight. But he's only been knocked out 1 time, so he's pretty durable. And he survived a ton of damage off of Alonzo Menefield. His last fight, he didn't really take as much damage, but he just lost the last 2 rounds. And he hasn't won a fight that's gone past the first round since 2018. So, obviously, extending him is the way to go if you're going to fight him. But he's strong, explosive. If he gets on top, he has a great chance to finish, especially in the first round. His last fight, he almost finished Bellato on the ground and then almost knocked him out when it got back to the feet in the first round. But he just needs to close the door and finish the job this time if he does get in those dominant positions on the mat. But Prachnio, karate guy, he's going to have to try to extend the fight. He's someone who's always going to be tricky because he switched stances. He's pretty mobile for the weight class. He'll kind of duck and dip and just be really offbeat, off rhythm. He'll throw hooks, overhands from weird angles. He has decent kicks, and he'll attack all parts of the body. So it's just an awkward style to deal with. And if you can't cut the cage off or control the center on Prachnio, he will point you to a decision. If you get really aggressive on him, he can sit down and get wild. He actually hurt Modestas Bukauskas a couple times in their last fight. But he's only gotten 1 finish, and it was with the body shot. So he hasn't been able to really knock anyone out at UFC level. And he's been finishing 5 of his 6 UFC losses. 3 knockout losses for Prachnio. So I feel like he's the less durable guy. But, you know, he's not much of a wrestler or grappler. You saw that in the fight with Petrino. He got taken down and ended up getting finished in that one. Petrino is a pretty decent prospect. But then his last fight with Modestas Bukauskas had never gotten a takedown in the UFC, and he was able to break Prachnio with the wrestling and then end up finishing him on the ground. So that wasn't a good look for me. And Prachnio is also coming in this fight off of a year layoff. He's 36 years old, so there's some red flags with him. I think he's a live underdog in this fight. He's going to have the leg kicks available, and he could land a crazy kick, wild shot on Crute. But he also has really bad cardio, and he gassed out in like 3 minutes in his last fight, so there's no way that I could really come in here and confidently say he's going to be able to have a way better gas tank. I mean, it's not that likely that he's going to be super fresh either. He basically gave the choke to Bukauskas after trying to finish him in the third. So I'm going to say Crute with the submission in this one. But I think fight doesn't go to decision is a better play than either money line. And I kind of, if I'm going to bet the money line, I'll go with Prachnio because I don't think Crute should be that big of a favorite. But prediction-wise, I'll